Hey everybody, Caudullo here, and I hold in my hands the Canon EOS R5C and the EOS C50. Now, at first glance, they may look very much alike. In fact, some have even called the EOS C50 the successor to the R5C. Now, the R5C has been almost universally acclaimed as the best hybrid video photo camera. But those of you who think there isn't much difference, or that the C50 is meant to replace the R5C, aren't seeing the full picture. I know that some of you want to see the footage right away, so I thought we'd cut in and out every once in a while and let you see what I shot with both cameras. Let me know what you think in the comments. First up, we're at Dusit Central Park, which is a beautiful new facility that came to be in place of the old Dusitani, which stretched all the way back to the 60s. Let's start with how they feel in your hand. Now, I've always liked a camera that fits snugly into my hand. I want to feel like there's something really there. I don't want some tiny little thing that I hold with 3 fingers. Both of these cameras feel great in your hand. Looking at them, the first obvious difference is that there's no viewfinder on the top of the C50. But to be honest, I hardly ever use the viewfinder on the R5C. It's either the LCD on the back or my OCT5 Plus monitor that I use most. And that's where the differences start. The R5C has a micro HDMI port, which has cost me in the past. The strain relief plastic that comes with the R5C makes you snake the cameras in a tight loop, which slowly kills your cables. And to add more to that, if you pull out or put in the micro HDMI on the R5C while it's on, you have a good likelihood of blowing the HDMI port circuit. That leaves you with a camera with no possibility of an external monitor. The fix? You have to replace the main board where the HDMI port is located. Like this one here, the rest of the board is fine, but my wallet isn't, due to the approximate $800 cost you need to spend for replacing it. Now, I found a new strain relief that I found on eBay, and I'll be happy to share that info with anyone who sends me a message, and we'll do another video on that later. But it keeps the cable straight out, as you can see, but yet firmly holds it in place, so you don't have any problems. Notice also that I'm using an HDMI micro to full-size HDMI female pigtail. It's another way to make sure that I don't have any more problems with that HDMI. Now, the C50 has solved that problem by giving us a full-size HDMI port that is snug and secure. I'm understandably very happy about that. Now, speaking about the LCD screen, there's really not too much difference there. The R5C has a 5.79 million dot OLED VVF with a 0.76 magnification. It also features a slightly larger touchscreen, 3.2 versus 3 inches. But being totally honest, I didn't notice the difference until I read the specs. It's just not that visibly apparent. Okay, once again, I know you guys really want to see the actual footage, so here's both cameras side by side, one after the other, and we're outside we're across the street actually from the Dusit Central Park, and we're in Lumpini Park looking over. The C50 ships with a top handle and a pair of 1/4" 20 mounting points on the top of the camera, plus more on either side. It's almost like having a cage built into the camera, and I really like that because I've got a couple of cages that are always sitting in the drawer. One for use using the optical external battery that extends into the bottom of the camera, and another that I would have to use without the external battery pack plugged into the R5C. Both of these sit in the drawer because, you know, it's a pain in the you-know-what when you have to change them back and forth. So I've left them off altogether now. I do like the protection that they offer, but I think it needs to be more modular in design to be really worthwhile. As I'm principally a 3D VR180 shooter, the handle is absolutely of no use to me. It sticks out over the front and is easily visible in the shot with the RF 5.2mm dual fisheye lens attached. I don't want to say too much about this, but I really think it should be an optional item. The camera should be sold either with it or without it as an add-on. The advantage of keeping it optional would be that it would reduce the cost and probably sell more units. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think that the handle is beautifully designed. It feels good in my hand, but you could please maybe have it so that it can plug in either way so that the ports could stick out the back instead of the front. Then I could use it with my 3D VR 180 projects. Instead, for me, it would sit in the drawer with the other cages waiting for the occasional 2D project that I do. Okay, here's another video insert. And I did 2 daytime, and then the rest of these are nighttime and studio setting. And this one is at the famous Khao San Road. So here you go, enjoy. The C50 does give you an extra rocker switch for telephoto or zoom attached to the record button in the front and another one up on the handle. By the way, you have 4 record buttons to choose from. 3 record buttons on the camera and 1 on the handle. Let's talk about the weight difference. The R5C weighs in at 770 grams or about 1.7 pounds with battery and recording media. And it's 142.2 by 101.6 by 111.8 millimeters, or about 5.6 inches by 4 inches by 4.4 inches. With the RF 5.2 millimeter dual fisheye lens, it weighs in at about 1,200 grams. Now, the C50 weighs 665 grams, or about 1.5 pounds, and measures 143 by 88 by 95, or 5.6 inches by 3.5 inches by 3.7 inches with the handle attached, leaving the handle unit off and putting the dual fisheye lens on, it comes in at 1,175 grams. So as you can see, not much difference in the weight difference or the size. Okay, let's get into the tech specs. The C50 features a brand new 30 megapixel full-frame CMOS image sensor. With the R5C, gives you a 45 megapixel CMOS sensor, which is the same as the one that's in the R5. Now the results of those changes mean that the R5C will record 8K resolution compared to 7K resolution for the C50. But there's where some of those changes get a little yin and yang. They give you a little and they take a little away. The C50 offers full-frame 3.2 open-gate video, which is something that to date, no other cinema EOS camera has offered. And yes, you can use open-gate 7K with the RF 5.2mm fisheye lens, but you can't get the 59.94 frames per second out of it. You have to drop down to 29.97 frames per second. Whew. For those of you doing 2K with this, it provides you with additional cropping flexibility during post-production and enables you to use full frame and anamorphic lenses. Now with both cameras, you have the possibility of doing simultaneous recording to both the CF Express Type B card and the V90 SD card in the 2 slots. One strange thing though, I do wish we could actually record compatible proxy formats for use with editing. It would save me a lot of time that I have to use creating proxies in Premiere, which are done as ProRes proxy files. Okay, so here's another insert with video, and this time we are down at the amazing, famous Bangkok Flower Mart. And it's an all-night thing of people putting flowers together to be shipped all over the country and even internationally from here. Okay, back to the cameras. This is where the difference is getting a little bit bigger. The C50 with the 32 megapixel sensor gives you 16 stops of dynamic range, and it gives you a dual base ISO of either 800 or 6400, and you get Canon C-Log 2. The R5C offers you about 14 stops of dynamic range, and you get a choice of a base ISO of either 800 or 3200, but only with Canon Log 3. I really don't understand why we don't have Canon Log 2 on the R5C. It's one of those mysteries of life. When it comes to focusing power, again, it depends on whether a 2D shooter or a 3D VR180 shooter. Canon offers dual pixel CMOS autofocus, which gives you AI feature-based subject detection. And it's one of the best out there, if not the best. For photographers, the C50 can capture continuous raw images with autofocus up to 40 frames per second and also gives you free release continuous shooting. The R5C is slower, but it's still no slouch. It gives you 20 frames per second, but you don't get the pre-capture release with the R5C. Now, both cameras give you timecode support, active cooling, dual CF Express and SD card slots, HDR recording, XLR support, which you can get with an adapter for the R5C or using the top handle with the C50. And their Frame I/O camera-to-cloud functionality with both cameras. Now, when it comes to programmable buttons, the C50 seems to take the lead, but only by one. The R5C has 13 customizable buttons. The C50 gives you one extra button for a total of 14. What really counts when you're talking about these two cameras is what it delivers in the field when you're shooting. So that's exactly what I did. I mounted them next to each other on an adjustable bar and headed out into the field. Here we go with another insert of video, and we are still at the Flower Mart. This is just another setting. I thought it was really good to be able to look at different things and different environments. Hope you enjoy this. While I am still recovering from my broken foot, I didn't let that keep me down. Thankfully, I had my wonderful wife, Bee, and my son William, and a very entrepreneurial, budding young videographer named Raph, who, by the way, did an excellent job of getting me a bunch of behind-the-scenes shots. So I've got to tell you, this is really close. I don't think that I can absolutely say that I prefer one camera over the other. There are things that I absolutely love about my Canon R5C, and there are other things that I really like about the changes and improvements in the Canon C50. I would say they are built for slightly different users. When I first talked about doing this review, everybody made a snap decision that the R5C was better because it was 8K versus 7K with the C50. But the C50 has a different sensor. And does a 10% difference really matter that much when you consider that you have some excellent options using Topaz Labs to upscale them to the exact same resolution? So it's really up to you as to which camera you think is better. The Canon C50 will debut at $38.99 when it becomes available. The R5C right now is priced at $33.99, and at B&H Photo there's a $400 instant savings, so the original price is $37.99. So again, the difference between the two cameras is minimal. Now, I hope this has helped to make some decisions about what you might want to do when it comes to purchasing your next camera. But I definitely hope you get one of these two cameras or any of the other Canon cameras that support immersive video capture. You really can't go wrong with either camera. Both of my Canon cameras use the LP-E6P lithium-ion battery, which means that you don't have to use external power. But let's face it, if you're doing a lot of shooting, it's a heck of a lot easier to have a reliable external battery pack. And I absolutely love the i4 100 Super Battery Pack. With its 2 USB-C ports and 2 USB-A ports, I was able to shoot all day and power my external OC T5 Plus monitor. What's more, it never went down below 70%, even at the end of the day. The built-in light at the opposite end means that you don't have to worry about having extra flashlights with you, and it can even work as occasional fill light in a pinch. As for the OC T5, the size is perfect for me to either put a Google Cardboard or a modified My 3D viewer to put on the front of it so I can see my 3D in the frame. I find it to be absolutely essential for getting good 3D shots and also picking up the differences on the right and left-hand side that could be substantial when you get into post-production. For audio, I absolutely swear by my Hollyland Lark Max 2 Ultimate Combo. The microphones are the perfect size and safely clip onto any material without causing any damage. They give you unparalleled clean audio with fantastic noise reduction, and it also features full chain 32-bit float to ensure that you don't get any clipping in your audio recordings. Have any questions about anything that I've talked about in this video or anything to do with any of these two cameras? Please reach out to me. I will try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the comparison between these two beautiful cameras. And get out there and keep shooting with either one of these fantastic cameras, and may all your days be 3D days. And this is our final video. It's not so much of an insert, but more of an end cap. So this is from a studio setup we did for some actors doing a scene, and enjoy. And if you have any questions or anything, do give me a holler. rolling, and action. Okay, camera rolling, and action. Camera rolling, and action. Please have a seat. Hey, thank you for coming in today, and really appreciate your sending in your CV.
No problem.
It was funny.
Oh, okay. That wasn't my intention.
Great. Our current situation is unusual in that we don't have any women here. Mainly due to the
Sexual harassment case.
Sexual harassment case, yes. You okay?
Yes. Sorry, I just ran from the station, just a bit hot. I'm really excited about...
Water?
No, I'll be... actually, yes, that would be great.
So, we are looking for someone who can handle themselves in a competitive environment. It's mainly filing, but we've got some pretty good filers here, so yeah. It also involves maintaining the website and throwing up the occasional twit. It says here that you've had some similar experience at the cafe that you... okay. I'm sorry. Okay, camera rolling, and action. Please have a seat. Hey, thank you for coming in today, and really appreciate you sending in your CV.
No problem.
It was funny.
Oh, okay. That wasn't my intention.
Great. Our current situation is unusual in that we don't have any women here. Mainly due to the
Sexual harassment case.
sexual harassment case, yes. Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I just ran from the station, just a bit hot. I'm really excited about...
Water?
No, I'll be... Actually, yes, that would be great.
So, we are looking for someone who can handle themselves in a competitive environment. It's mainly filing, but we've got some pretty good filers here, so yeah. It also involves maintaining the website and throwing up the occasional twit. It says here that you've had some similar experience at the cafe that you... okay. I'm sorry.